Today, let's peel back the veil on the aura, that radiant field said to surround every living being, a light that bridges the seen and the unseen. What is this glow that connects body, mind, and spirit? What is an aura really? In many traditions, the aura is seen as an energy field, a kind of vibrational halo that radiates outward from the body, especially around the head. Not quite visible to most people, but some claim to perceive it as a shifting cloud of light filled with color and meaning. Each shade carries an emotional, mental, or spiritual signal, like a language of light. This isn't just a modern New Age idea. Ancient stories tell of Moses returning from Mount Sinai, his face glowing so brightly that people couldn't look at him, or the light that surrounded St. Paul during his awakening on the road to Damascus. Mystics, saints, and prophets have been described as literally glowing, their aura brightening through divine contact or deep spiritual insight. Now, even medieval art seems to hint this, with glowing halos around the heads of holy figures, stained glass radiance, and golden crowns of light. Some believe these weren't just artistic flourishes, but visual expressions of the aura. And the concept shows up in more scientific or esoteric writings too. Paracelsus, a 16th century physician and alchemist, wrote about a luminous force that surrounds the body and reflects health, mood, and even the imagination. He believed that healing and illness both began in this subtle field before showing up in the physical body. Now, later in theosophical teachings, the aura becomes a whole layered system, not just a glow, but an overlapping field with multiple zones, one tied to physical health, another to emotion, another to one's karmic past, one to the character, and the highest to one's spiritual self. So in this view, aura is expressive. It broadcasts who we are, sometimes even more clearly than words. So again, the aura was or can be broken down into 5 main types. The health aura, which is almost colorless, but visible through a web of fine radiating lines that stream out evenly from the body. Next is the vital aura, linked to one's willpower and astral body. This one starts out as a delicate rosy hue but shifts to a deeper blush as it radiates outward. It's like the energy of action and intention. Then the karmic aura, and this is where things get a little bit interesting. It is considered the mirror of one's desires and feelings. The colors here constantly shift, reacting to one's emotional state. Then the aura of character, and this one holds the imprint of who one is deep down. It's like a soul archive containing the essence of one's past lives and life lessons. It's more stable than the emotional layer and reveals core nature. Now, the last one is spiritual aura, and this is the rarest one to see. It is said to be visible only when the spiritual self, the highest aspect of a person, becomes the dominant force. When that happens, this aura outshines all the others with a kind of light that can be hard to describe. When it comes to colors, in esoteric traditions, each auric color carries a symbolic vibrations, and unlike the colors we see with our physical eyes, aura colors are said to be way more vibrant, with shades and nuances that don't even exist on the normal spectrum. They're more luminous, more alive. So here's a basic rundown of some of the core auric colors and what they're said to reveal. So rose was described as pure love and affection. Not the romantic kind necessarily, but a deep, heartfelt warmth, the kind you feel when you're truly connected to another soul. Now, brilliant red is described as intense. It points to strong energy, force, even anger. It's action, movement, passion, but also volatility. Now, muddy or dirty red usually signals raw passion, sensuality, and unrefined desire. Not necessarily bad, but definitely primal. Bright yellow, the sharp, lemony kind, represents high intellectual activity. Clear thinking, insight, the kind of mental energy that lights up when you're learning or creating something new. Orange is also intellectual, but with a twist. It's just ambition and pride, using mind for self-gain, or maybe wrestling with ego-driven goals. Now, brown was or is usually linked to greed or materialism. It tends to appear when someone's energy is overly grounded in the physical, in ownership, or in control. Green one is interesting because it is incredibly complex. At its lowest vibration, it can mean jealousy or deceit. But go a bit higher and it turns into adaptability, flexibility, the ability to meet others where they are. At its very highest, sympathy, deep, sincere empathy. The kind of heart energy that's about truly feeling what others feel and not just understanding it intellectually. Now, blue is the color of devotion. It shows up in people with a strong spiritual or religious connection. The deeper and purer the blue, the higher the level of spiritual aspiration. It could represent anything from humble worship to soaring mystical idealism. Now, purple is a heavy hitter in the aura world. It stands for psychic ability, inner wisdom, and spiritual power, a kind of knowledge and authority that comes from having seen beyond the veil. Now, of course, these colors don't exist in isolation. Most of the time, they swirl, blend, and shift. The aura is fluid, constantly changing based on our state of mind, our energy, even the company we keep. Now, you've probably seen aura photography booths at metaphysical fairs, those portraits where you sit still and the rainbow cloud appears behind your head. I tried one once. Mine was green with streaks of yellow. Felt accurate. And while the science of those machines is debatable, the symbolism is interesting, that we carry unseen light and that light has meaning. But the aura isn't just psychological, at least not in all the traditions. In astrology, for example, the aura is linked to the influence of Uranus, the planet of electricity, sudden insight, and energetic disruption. Certain aspects in a birth chart, like trines and sextiles between Uranus and the ascendant, are said to strengthen the aura's presence, creating that unmistakable charge some people give off the moment they walk into a room. From an occult perspective, the aura is a psychic effluvium, a kind of energetic mist that also radiates from animals, plants, even inanimate objects. Everything has an energetic signature, a field made up of what some call electrovital and electromental magnetism. And long before psychology or photography entered the picture, ancient philosophers saw the aura as a real, vital force, the soul's own light made visible. In Hermetic thought, for example, light is the source of all things. The aura was your personal flame, your echo of the cosmic light. Brightness mattered more than color. A clear, bright aura meant harmony. A dim or murky one suggested disconnection or spiritual illness. Now, the goal wasn't to change your color, but to cleanse your light. And before casting spells or invoking planetary forces, philosophers, magicians would purify the aura using ritual, incense, or planetary hours to ensure the subtle body was in harmony with the intended celestial influence. In astrology's early days, the human being was seen as a microcosm of the cosmos. The planets were said to radiate spiritual light that shaped not only one's character, but also one's energy field. So Mars brought a sharp, fiery glow. Venus made it smooth and harmonious. Saturn added weight and gravity. One's aura was considered a reflection of own celestial birth, a living mirror of the stars. For Neoplatonists like Plotinus, the soul itself was light, actually radiant. So he described moments of spiritual ecstasy where one saw their own soul as shining, independent of the body. And in magical texts from Egypt, like the Greek magical papyri, there are rituals where divine light is invoked to surround the practitioner as protection, purification, or as power. And that's how serious this was. To change your aura, to brighten it, to realign it with the divine, meant ritual, discipline, breathwork, chanting, sacred geometry, tuning your soul like an instrument. Some spells ask for the radiance of the stars or the flame of Helios to form a luminous shield around the body, an ancient magical aura in the most literal sense, because the aura was one's alignment with the cosmos, and a glowing aura was initiation. And yes, the ancients did associate colors with energy, but in their world, color was sacred. So you weren't green because you're kind, you were green because Venus ruled your nature. And you weren't red because you're angry, you were a child of Mars. Color expressed celestial influence, not personality. Now, that kind of color-coded psychology came much later, especially through theosophy in the 19th century, which blended Eastern and Western ideas into the modern aura system we know today. Kabbalah spoke of Or Makif, a surrounding divine light enfolding the soul, layers of purity expanded through prayer and study. Sufism compared the soul to a mirror polished by remembrance, reflecting the Nur, the divine light. Now, during the Renaissance, thinkers like Vicino and Bruno revived these ideas, envisioning the aura as a luminous field shaped by planetary forces, tuned by music, color, and scent. Another thought comes from the world of medicine, specifically the theory of the four humors. Each humor governed the body and the temperament, and each one had a color. So if you were sanguine, ruled by blood, you were warm, joyful, and your soul was flushed with red. If phlegmatic, governed by cold and calm, your inner field reflected pale blue or white. Choleric souls, full of fire and ambition, were colored with gold or yellow. and the melancholic, steeped in reflection and gravity, carried the cool shadow of black or deep blue. But what if light faded? Now, the ancient philosophers believed the soul's radiance could suffer. Dreams darkened, breath grew heavy, eyes lost their fire. These were signs of soul sickness. Now, causes of aura damage included moral or ritual impurity, contact with unclean spirits, or astrological misfortune. A broken aura wasn't a minor issue. It exposed the soul to madness, misfortune, even death. In necromantic rituals, magicians summoned the dead, shifting their aura to match the underworld's frequency, and this was a dangerous act that could tear or corrupt the aura if unprotected. Light could be overwhelmed, drawn into shadow, and those who lingered too long in the dark sometimes didn't return whole. To heal a compromised aura, exorcism wasn't a dramatic spectacle but precise ritual, like chanting sacred names, burning purifying resins, striking musical tones to retune the subtle body and drive out invasion. Evil could not cling to harmonious light, and restored aura meant restored spirit. Neglect, imbalance, or grief could dim the aura too. Now, purification rituals like immersion in sacred waters, incense fumigation, fasting, and dawn sun rituals all restored and rekindled the inner flame. These were acts of spiritual hygiene, medicine for the unseen wounds of the soul. Aura damage was cosmic dislocation, a break in the harmony between self and stars, and healing was initiatory, a return to divine order, a cleansing of the soul's mirror until it reflected the cosmos again. In ancient magic, light around the body meant divine presence. In ritual, the aura could be seen, glowing, sparking, shimmering, but only in moments of contact with the divine. From this ancient light, the concept traveled and evolved. Now, I have to mention Babylon, that ancient city under a blazing sun and endless sky. People there believed their king was no ordinary man. Kings were believed to carry the melamo, a divine radiance. It was a literal glow, a sacred aura that crowned them with celestial power. So when a new king was crowned, rituals were performed to awaken this light within him. His aura became a sign of divine favor, a protection for the kingdom. And to stand in the presence of the king was to witness light made flesh. His radiance inspired awe, a powerful sign that he was chosen and protected by the gods. But that light was fragile. It could be damaged, dimmed, even extinguished by dark forces, bad omens, or ritual impurity. Protecting the king's aura was a matter of national survival. The same was true for anyone practicing magic or seeking spiritual ascent. Aura damage meant spiritual illness, and healing it meant restoring harmony between self and cosmos. Now, the great Babylonian myth, the Enuma Elish, tells how the god Marduk battled the chaotic dragon Tiamat. And when Marduk triumphed, he defeated a monster and unleashed light itself. From Tiamat's shattered body, the world and stars were born, and divine order was restored. Now, this cosmic light is the source of the king's radiance, the soul's aura, the power that links people to the heavens. And in that mythic moment, light was victory, life, and the living aura of the universe itself. So what does all this mean for us? Maybe the aura is real, maybe it's metaphor, but even if we can't see it, maybe we can feel it, that sense of someone glowing or the heavy energy in a room, that gut feeling, moment of light or resonance. Because whether or not we believe in luminous clouds or planetary rays, still who we are radiates. Our thoughts, our moods, our intentions show outward. And who knows, perhaps our soul remembers that ancient light it came from. So thank you for being here today. If you have any thoughts or questions, let me know in the comment section below. Also, please subscribe and press a like button, and I will see you next week. Bye!